Hello everyone and welcome to week 14 of our semester here, Fall 2020 Data Collection Analysis. Let me give you a quick introduction of what week 14 is all about. Course website here, course materials here. Of course the cookbook isn't linked yet. That makes sense, right? But I have a copy of it right here. So this is the week 14 cookbook. We're back to a normal schedule. Right, so we have a regular week, we have Zoom Wednesday, and the same happens, of course, in week 15 as well. So we're kind of finishing up the semester on a normal schedule, if you will. Here's what this is all about. The usual sequence. We'll start with a review. We'll make over a chart. We'll talk about colors. We have Zoom Wednesday, and then there's a quick assignment that I'll explain to you in just a second. So looking at the course schedule, right, it is week 14. We have 3 more weeks to go, 14, 15, 16. 16, of course, is the last week. And that's also when we're going to start our final exam. We're not going to wait until the 21st. We're going to do it very similar to what we did for the midterm. I'm going to give it out on Zoom Wednesday here, the 16th, and then you have a certain amount of time to do it. Probably until the 21st, actually, so that it kind of fits with that exam schedule. But more details on that later. Review and reflection, right? This thing called the Tufty handout or the presentation handout, this idea of a normal way of a presentation, and then here what I think and Tufty thinks is a better way. This idea of giving up some time talking in favor of letting your audience read a handout. All right, so many advantages in that. So take a look at this and just go for it. Next time you have to give a presentation, try it like that. Trust me, it'll work. Then we'll a little bit more about pie charts. Cool little article here that's worth taking a look at. Practical rules for pie charts here, which I like a lot. And then some interesting stuff here. All charts are wrong, but some are useful, so check that out. Good examples in this article as well. That takes us to a cool diagram here, which we'll take a look at in class. We'll do a chart makeover, right? So take a look at this chart and see what you can do with this. As usual, think about this as a process, what you like, what you dislike, and that's sort of more emotional, if you will, and then sort of start to take it apart. What are the visual encodings? And then identify what this chart is supposed to tell you. And then you can think about how to make that better, because that chart clearly doesn't do what it is supposed to do, right? And part of that is because it uses a whole bunch of visual encodings. And so you need to think about how to do that. So give that a go. Classic chart makeover. And I guess here's a good reading as well. Check that out. Why people make bad charts and why, what to do when that happens. Colors, part 3. Lots of stuff about colors, right? Really something I always want to emphasize to you, if you're going to use colors, there's nothing wrong with that, but be aware of colors. Colors are tricky. You want to use them well, and I give you some links here. And then here's something interesting called scientific color maps as well. What are the best colors to use? And this guy figured it out, right? And gives you some specific examples here of what the best colors are for what use. Cool little flow chart that you could use if you want to use colors in your data set, in your data viz, and work through that flow chart and you get the best use of color out of that. We'll take a look at Zoom Wednesday. Let's take a look at Zoom Wednesday at the slide deck here quickly. All right, basic sequence. We'll review, we'll look at some data viz, and then we'll look at what's called ducks. Believe it or not, that's a term used in data viz, ducks. We'll take a look at that, and then we will think about and look at examples of bad charts. Like, why do people make bad charts? And then let's look at some examples of that. So that's Zoom Wednesday, and then we go back to the cookbook. Here is our assignment, pretty straightforward. I want you to go duck hunting. In other words, go out on the interwebs and find some ducks. And if you find a duck, a database duck, obviously, put it into the shared slide deck so we can all enjoy the cool stuff, crazy stuff you find. Tell us a little about why it's a duck, if it's even needed. Sometimes it's pretty obvious. And then, yes, I'd like to see your trifold for project 3. So I can take a look at it and give you some feedback with that. Okay, so that is the week 14 assignment. Here is the week 14 Zoom Wednesday slide deck. Here is the week 14 cookbook. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you actually for week 14.